So Weber, a quick background about me. My name is Varun. I'm the co-founder of Flowace. So I
Hi.
started Flowace in the year 2018. So it's been about 5 years since I've been working on this product.
Okay. I
Sorry.
think Pavni is calling. I'll just tell her. Hi, Pavni. I have joined. I am sorry I got delayed. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Varun.
Yeah. So we're currently catering to 36,000 users that are using the product spread across
Understood.
276 plus organizations that we're working with. And our core goal is to improve the productivity of your workforce so that you can
Right.
do more with less and you're able to focus on the right areas rather than, probably wasting time on distractions. So that's what we help companies and people do. So would be
Right.
good to know a little bit about you, Webhav, and I think you mentioned some requirements of yours as well, if I'm not wrong.
Right. So basically, just to give you a background, practically we work like one setup under the brand name of Insurance Experts. Under that, we have about, say, I would say 13 to 15 employees, somewhere around that.
Okay.
But they are actually divided into three different legal entities because we
Okay.
function as insurance agents. So, say some employees are under Vaibhav Agarwal. I am also explaining to you so that you will understand logistically
Sure.
how it can be done.
Sure.
Some are under Vaibhav Agarwal, say 4 5 employees. 4 5 employees say under Yogendra Agarwal and Anusha Agarwal, my mother, father, and all.
Got it.
So,
Got it.
but technically, we are all sitting in the one office. They all sort of assist each other and all. It's
Sure.
just how things are structured.
Got it.
So, it's the only thing. So, that is one. We are into the insurance advisory field
Okay.
and we basically service clients pan India. So,
Okay.
unlike most other insurance offices, our work is not of field offices, field and all. Clients are mostly referral based. So, everybody is primarily working on emails, phone calls, and yeah, WhatsApp and all.
Got it.
So
Got it.
that's the primary mode. Majority of the time, yes, is spent on computers because either somebody may be reviewing an insurance policy, sending
Right.
emails out,
Right.
coordinating with companies and all.
Got it.
So the primary challenge, two, three reasons why I was primarily looking at
Yeah.
this, but I could not practically understand how it will work.
Right. Right.
I just got a theoretical idea.
Sure.
One is attendance. Right now, we use either manual registers. We also had
Hmm.
a biometric, but
Okay.
slightly outdated one. Jisme
Right.
you need to keep syncing with the computer and all, which would take up
Right.
more time, anyways.
Right.
So that's one challenge I wanted to solve,
Right.
uh, including say things like people may have taken a short break even in between. Some of the attendance systems are there.
Right.
Morning check-in, evening check-out. But
हाँ.
what if the person is going out
उसमें
from
क्या
time to time?
what people have spent time. हाँ. ठीक है. Got it.
Correct. Then
Understand
say
that.
if it's a lunch break or whatever.
Right.
Second, that ideally helping out in terms of just calculating the payroll.
Got
I'm
it.
not sure if yours has that or not. I think Pavni mentioned it's in the
Right.
works or something.
Right.
But
Right.
basis the system we feed in if the pay could automatically be calculated at the end of the month so
Got it.
that those transfers can be carried out.
Got it.
Second thing was that this part, productivity. This
Right.
is a big challenge. Sometimes I feel certain people are sincere. Some people I feel may not be working that sincerely. But
Correct.
right now, it becomes too intrusive if you start checking on a
Correct.
day-to-day basis, ki what are you doing and all of
Correct.
that.
Correct. Correct.
So that I got a sense, I'm not sure how, but that you're
Sure.
able to help with that.
Sure.
And I think one more thing I'd probably mention, I'm forgetting
Hmm.
probably from your notes. We'll proceed with
Right.
that as you. Yeah.
Right, right, right. So one question I have in mind. So first two points are quite clear that that is something
Right.
that we help companies with, and there's no need to manually punch in anything. You'll
Right.
automatically get the attendance. You'll also get even the payroll calculation. We don't do the payroll per se, but we'll
Right.
use the calculation of number of working days, number of leaves taken, or number of all that analytics you'll be able to get, which you'll be able to integrate and then do the payroll
And
yourself. So that's second thing we're able to do. The third thing I want to understand with respect to productivity, we help in two areas. One is understanding where people are spending their time on which apps and websites. That's one
right.
area. And the second one is also understanding time spent on different projects and tasks. So I want
And
to understand if that is interesting or is it just a
so
level of,
projects and tasks is not very important, but that is
okay,
what actually I gathered from your website regarding the apps and all.
right.
Now, primarily,
Hmm.
90% of the time when the person is on the computer, they may
Right.
be spending on, say, 80-90%, they may be spending on Gmail.
Got
My
it.
problem is what they are doing on Gmail. Maybe
Got it.
their Gmail is open, they are
Right.
not doing anything within that, right? Or maybe, yes, like there may be, like, even say on a typical work day, I
Sure.
have 7-8 tabs open. One
Right.
may be, say, for one particular Tata AIG's portal is open. I may be working on that, may not be working on that. I've just kept
Right.
it open on the side because I may need some details in between.
Sure.
Similarly, I may have Gmail open throughout, but
Right.
I may be sending few emails only in between. I may not
Correct.
actually be actively doing something throughout.
Got
So
it. Got it.
that kind of a thing is my challenge.
Sure.
Second thing is there are some people who are sincerely working,
Correct.
but I feel they are not being productive enough. Like even if
Productive.
they're
Correct.
sending out emails or reviewing emails,
Yeah.
whether he's actually engaging in something which is productive or is he just
Or is he
मतलब,
not?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that is my main challenge, which
Right.
I want to overcome. So
Right.
how this can help us overdo that? I thought maybe a
Sure.
demo will help demonstrate
Sure.
that.
Sure. Sure.
And last thing, honestly, which came to my mind because Pavni had also inquired from me if you're
Sure.
looking at some other products. Honestly, I've only looked at what top two or three I was thinking
Sure.
may solve the problem.
Sure.
One was some HR and one was KK.
Got it.
Uh, One thing which we don't do right now, but I want to gradually incorporate is uh, having KPIs, KPAs, and all properly
Right.
in place
Right.
and being able to track that. Right now, what
Right.
happens is I saw somebody has done this kind of an error. I
Right.
know broadly now from my memory, I'll just remember कि अच्छा ये हुआ था नहीं हुआ था, or it
Correct.
becomes very tedious maintaining
Very
paperwork for
right.
that. If
Right.
that also there can be a record which is available only to us, say
Right.
evaluating at the time of their feedbacks or their bonuses,
Right.
increments.
Right. 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 No, makes sense. So let's start off with the simple use cases, right? The first few
Right.
ones that you mentioned. And then from there,
Correct.
we can obviously go on to the other ones also that we have. I'll try my
Right.
best to cover everything. It's not practically possible though. There's so much.
Absolutely.
I'll try.
Absolutely.
I'll try my best to give you a glimpse of
For
what.
these two, three things also, if it mainly sort of gives me an idea,
Yeah.
it'll make sense whether in our setting we'll be able to
Yeah.
incorporate it or not.
Correct.
And to start with, if you can also give me, because we are not a large corporate, so if you
Right.
could give me an idea of the pricing,
Right.
so I can know that
Sure.
considering these aspects,
Sure.
that if we can start with probably right at the start. If
Sure. So the pricing is actually mentioned on the website itself. So let me just open
right.
that
Actually,
quickly.
I was for some time working from the UK. So the
Okay.
problem which was happening was it was showing me in USD or something.
Got it.
So
So
although our
it does
operations are
show
in
in USD only, to be honest, because
I
that's like
thought,
a standard currency.
understood.
That's what we operate. But obviously, we you can take into account the conversion rate, and we do have both type of plans, annual or monthly. And just to
Understood.
give you a synopsis of what these include, so basic is for those customers, like how you said, who are only looking at attendance. They
Right.
don't really care about productivity. They just want to know active time, start time,
Right.
end time, and active time and idle time in the day.
Okay.
That's all they
Okay.
want to know. In the standard, they're also interested in understanding in the active time how much time was spent on which productive apps and websites. So that
Right.
is what standard really tells you. Premium is
Understood.
more about, let's say, if you have some remote workforce and you want to know, understand internet connectivity, like what's the kind of internet that they're getting, where are they logging in from, all that. There's
Right.
more specialized stuff which is not applicable to everyone.
Understood.
So that's the breakup of the pricing. So annual and monthly both are available. We do have a 7-day free trial as well.
Right.
Before the free trial starts, also we'll be happy to assist you in the onboarding process. So we help you out with adding some users, configuring things. Once that's
Right.
done, you actually can use the tool for 7 days. Make a conscious call whether you want to go ahead with this or you don't want to go ahead. And even during the trial, we'll be able to tell you that which feature plan or which pack is more suitable to your needs, because maybe if you don't require these features, why to pay extra to us, right? We'd rather
Understood.
have you get ROI from the tool. That's how the SaaS business works. If you get ROI tomorrow, you'll recommend us to 5 other customers, but if you don't get
Absolutely.
ROI, you won't recommend. It's simple
Ab-
as. So this is the pricing straightforward as it is on the website itself. uh,
right.
and I can get into the product now if that's okay.
Yes. Yes. And within that, maybe premium to start with, we can ignore. But supposing you're going to do product, you can just tell me if something is not included in basic
Got
and
it.
what is where we are moving on
Sure.
to standard. So I'll get
Sure,
an
sure, sure. I'll do the bifurcation based on that.
right.
So now Flowace can be installed in two modes on the end user's machine. One is called the silent mode and the other one's called the interactive mode. So in the silent
Right.
mode, what happens is the user has no user interface. So it's running
Okay.
like a background process. So there is absolutely no idea that the user has. In the
Okay.
interactive mode, the user knows that this kind of an agent is running on his or her machine. So first, I
Understood.
would like to understand from your side which out of the two resonates more with you. Is it like a silent mode where you don't want them to know about this, don't want them to interact with this? and it's running separately.
I think I'm okay sharing with them, most likely. Although basically my father and I run the organization, so I'll
Sure.
basis
You'll
the
you'll
use
check
case,
you'll
I'll be
check with him as well. Sure.
discuss with
So
him.
both
But
modes
yeah,
are available.
hmm,
The one small advantage with the interactive mode is that there is also this button called move to privacy mode, which you may not give to your employees. When you click
okay,
on this button of move to privacy mode, what happens is there is this bubble that follows you wherever you go. So if I
okay,
open this now, basically I'm in my privacy mode, so nothing is getting tracked now, not even locally. So this is my
understood.
break time. So and if you want to give this, you can as an administrator, you can decide that.
Right.
This
This
is
we would not like. Yeah.
yeah. So this I'm gonna click back and come back into my work mode now, and that's all that the user needs to do. That's
Right.
all that's required. There's nothing else. Other than that, all the features are same. So now what I'll do is I'll take you through the insights as to what you're able to see as a manager or as an administrator.
Right.
For me, the dashboard is at gozo.flowace.net, so it's a web dashboard.
Right.
What I'll be showing you right now is the live data in our workspace. So just give me one moment, just logging on to this. So for you, it will
Right.
be your company name .flowace.in on the top. That will be your unique URL that will get created.
And the pricing which you showed, this is inclusive of all charges, or there's some taxes and all
There's just
extra,
GST additional on that. It's not
which is
inclusive.
which is
It's not inclusive of GST, 18%.
18%. Okay.
Yeah. Correct. So now, firstly, I'll move into the attendance of. I'm starting with the basic plan. So in the
Right.
basic plan, what you'll be able to get is this attendance view where you'll be able to understand for every user when did they log in, when did they log out, and how much time did they actually work for. So this, what
Understood.
you see over here is the active periods of work that they've done. So it's automatically subtracting any lunch break or any snack break or whenever I move away from the system, there is a value
Understood.
that can be configured. So let's say that value is 10 minutes. If there is
Right.
no mouse movement or keypad activity for 10 minutes, automatically the user will be put into idle mode. And those
Understood.
times will not be taken. So automatically you'll know. So even if I, let's say, move on to the my previous month, you'll be able to see sometimes. So you can see on this day, I logged in at 10:30. I logged out at 8:09 in the night
Understood.
at night, but I worked only for 2 hours 57 minutes. This was my
Understood.
actual active time.
So just one question here. One is the active time, it starts counting from the time somebody has logged into Flowace. Is that it?
No, if they open the laptop, they start working straight. The
Okay.
first entry of
Okay.
the day is like when they sort of come on the laptop and they start working. That's the first
Okay.
entry. And the last
Now,
entry,
what happens sometimes is that, to give you an example, some particular day, maybe the person's, so all of them are working from office right now. Maybe on one particular day, the person's system is not switching on, right?
okay, okay,
So maybe calling the technician or whatever. So
okay,
number one, his time will not get recorded there. How can we
correct,
overcome that?
correct.
Second, what may happen is somebody else who's on leave, we may tell the guy, ki, Acha, you use his computer until then.
Got it.
So that may get recorded as that other person's attendance. So that
Correct.
may create an anomaly. So how to overcome that
Sure.
in such a
So every user has his own user profile, so that
right,
user can log in. So for example, if I press on this button and if I
right,
click on this re-login button now, what you'll
right.
see is that this is my user profile. So someone
Okay.
else can also log in. Let's say if that person is not working from this machine, the other person can log in from his user profile. So then
Acha.
time will start
So
getting
automatically
recorded.
the other person will get logged out.
Correct.
Otherwise, on a daily basis, they don't need to keep
They don't
re-logging.
need to keep doing this. They don't. This is just when, let's say, when such a occasion's happening where your someone else is working from that laptop. So this can be.
Understood.
And
Understood.
the second thing that you mentioned is about someone being at home or maybe the laptop is not working. We do have a manual method of adding time also. Now, again,
Okay.
that depends on whether you want to give this manual entry permission to users or you do not want to give this. That depends on you. They can go into their timeline and add a manual entry just like how it's there on all the systems. Like just add what I worked in from, let's say, from 10 to 2 hours working on this or 3 to 6 hours working on this. That can be provided, and you can also get an analysis in the end of the month that how much time was added manually, how much time was had come through the automated system,
And by who?
and by
Okay.
this
And
is my time. Yeah,
for the active time, how is it monitoring? Is it basis that your cursor is moving on the computer,
yeah.
or what is it?
Yeah, so it's mouse movement and keypad activity both. So let me just
Okay.
show you the raw data that will
Right.
probably help you understand how this works. So I made a manual entry today, as you can see over here, 8 o'clock.
Right.
I made a manual entry because I was doing a demo with another potential client and they wanted to see how the manual entry works. So I've added this. But if you
Understood.
see from my automated time, I actually logged in at this time. So my first
Understood.
login of the day was actually at 9:45:04. That was
Right.
my logger start. You can see over.
Understood.
And then I kept working. So whenever I switch any tab or I switch any window, so
Hmm.
automatically that gets recorded and you see for how much time also. So this is just to show you how accurate the system is whenever you make
Understood.
any switches. So if I click on any of these cells over here, it will show me what I was doing. It will also show me the URL. So even the
Understood.
URL gets captured. So if I'm moving here, I was working on this. So I was working on this document or this notepad. Then I went, and this is the break time that I was telling you about. So this
Right.
44 minutes I took a break.
Understood.
That's why I was idle. Then again I started working over here, and then I started doing things, and
When does it start counting you as idle? After how long has no
that
cursor moved or anything?
yeah, that can be configured. So as an administrator, I'll just jump into the admin settings now. Good question. So you can set that differently for different users also based on their type of work,
Type of work.
their
Right.
nature of work, and so on, their role, responsibility. So as you can see,
Understood.
for most people, it's 10 minutes. But since I am, and some people in my company, we sometimes do the thinking work. So what we
Right.
need is probably a larger window. And we also have an alert. So what this alert does is that on the 14th minute, if I'm just
Hmm.
sort of thinking on the desk, I'm not really pressing anything, it'll send a sound to me with an alert saying that, hey, Varun, looks like you've been inactive for the last couple of minutes. Are you still working? And if I genuinely
Understood.
am working, I'll be like, yes, I'm working. But if I'm not
Understood.
working, I'm a conscious person. I won't really indicate that I'm working.
Understood. One more query in this. Supposing you put in idle time as 15 minutes. So for normally when you're working, it's absolutely fine. But say
Hmm.
when you're getting up for your lunch break,
Hmm.
the lunch break may be half an hour. But
Correct.
out of that 15 minutes, it will still count as if you're working.
No, no, no. 15 minutes. So if 15 minutes gets elapsed, those 15 minutes are also considered idle.
Acha, understood. Understood. ठीक है, ठीक
So
है.
only if someone, let's say, if I 14th minute पे I do an entry, then yes, 14 minutes
Okay,
का फिर वो नहीं लेगा. But then
ठीक.
we don't really recommend you to disclose the time also to people. Like
Correct. Correct.
otherwise, people will start sort of gaming it every 10 minutes.
Ah,
They come
absolutely.
and you
That
should
I
tell them
understand.
that it automatically does things. It's something
Right.
that will automatically configure based on your preferences and all of that. So
Right.
that's
Understood.
something we always recommend. And coming back to the attendance dashboard, so this what you saw was my time. Now, if there's someone reporting to me, let's say if I am a manager, if there's someone directly reporting to me, I can
Hmm.
see his time also. Let's say Abhishek Patel reports to me.
Hmm.
So I click on Abhishek Patel. Now I get to see his time also. And it integrates with your leaves as well. So we do have a leave management system too, wherein if they want to apply for leaves, and if you've approved that leave, it'll come up on his leaves as well. So if I go to his last month, you'll see there are so many leaves that he had taken.
Understood. And does this work as an app also? Like the minute somebody's applied for the leave, it'll come to me as a notification. Can I approve it from there as well?
Yeah,
Or
it won't come to you on the app, but there is a portal where on the leave management you can approve and reject leaves.
okay. But how
Right.
will I get to know? Will I get an email or some
Yeah, you get an
notification?
email. You get an email.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, an
That's
email notification will come to you saying that someone's applied for a leave. You may
fine.
approve or reject it, and there'll be a button. So if you press that button, it will take you to that leave management portal,
Understood. Along with the reason for the leave or
along
whatever
with the
would
reason, everything.
understood.
I'll show that to you, after I'm done
Ah,
with
absolutely.
attendance. You
Sorry,
see,
I'm just asking in between
no,
because
it's
about
good,
the
it's good.
hour.
I like it's better to have an interactive session, in my
Right.
opinion, because that clarifies more number of doubts. And I think, it's better to always, that my
Yes.
recommendation is always to have an interactive session.
Yeah.
So now I'll move on to the timesheet analytics window. What this does is like how you asked the payroll processing bit, right? The calculation of that. So let's say I
Hmm.
select the month of January. So
Hmm.
1st of January until 31st of January. I
Hmm.
set this date and time period.
Hmm.
Now I'm able to see for this month how many were the total working days in the company.
Hmm.
Now obviously some leaves have been entered, so holidays, all that can be entered. And once that has been
Correct.
entered, you'll know how many days are working in the organization, out of
Right.
which how many days have been taken as leaves. So that'll get subtracted. So you'll get each person's actual working days.
Right.
You can punch in some kind of expected hours, how many hours do you expect them to do on a daily basis or so on, based on which you'll
Hmm.
get the monthly count. You'll
Hmm.
get the actual hours. This is what's most important. Once you have the actual hours, and this is automatically subtracting the break time and the idle periods and all of that. So once you
Understood.
have this amount, divide that by the actual working days, will give you the average hours per day, which is the
Okay.
most important
So
for
the
you.
actual hours is the productive time, which is
Act-
active time.
Active time, not productive time.
Okay.
Productive
Understood.
is time spent on productive apps and websites, which comes in a
Correct.
second plan,
Correct.
which is what I will show you. after
This shows that acha, they were doing something.
they were doing something, they were active. So that is what actual hours are, but they were not idle. That is the most important thing.
Understood.
They were not idle.
Understood.
So actual hours divided by the actual working days will give you the average hours per day.
Okay.
And that is only accurate if you have the leave data. That's the only reason why we encourage that even if you're not using our tool for leave management system, if you integrate with the tool, then you'll once we get the leaves, this is what should be accurate. If this is not
Okay.
accurate, then automatically if I divide this value by the total number of working days, it will give me the wrong value. It'll give me a
Understood.
lesser value for the person actually, because if someone's taking 5 days ka leave, and if I'm dividing it by 23, it's not going to give me a fair value for it.
Understood. Can the leave also be for a specific number of hours? Say somebody has just gone not even for half a day. They've just said, I'm going out for 1 hour.
Okay. No, we
So,
don't have that. Otherwise,
understood.
it's only a half day or a full day leave. Those are the types of leaves that we have.
Understood.
Then you have missing hours. Missing hours are nothing but expected hours minus actual hours, which will help you get the
Understood.
missing hours. Then you have
Understood.
average start time. So who's an early riser in your company? On an average, who's a late worker? So you have those analysis. And
Understood.
this is itself covers the attendance bit. And now I can move on if there are any questions with respect to this, or I
No,
can
this seems like. What was the after average end time?
average end time. So this is more about project time and stuff, project hours.
Acha,
I
not
do projects
but
and tasks that now
right.
I'm done with the attendance up till this sort of column.
Right.
Yeah. And would you like to see the leave management as well?
Yeah, that will be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in admin settings, there's something called work schedules, which you can create.
Hmm.
Obviously, different teams can have different schedules, so you can create different schedules. Let's say for the product team, what are the holidays that they'll be having in the year or so? You can benchmark that. You can have your weekly off. So depending on whether you work on alternate Saturdays or all Saturday Sundays are off, you
Right.
can configure that. Then what are the allotted leaves? Is it like an incremental system, or is it like for us we have this one system where we give leaves in the start of the year and then we ask them to utilize it during the year? But some
So,
people have this thing, right? That one leave per month should get
right.
added to 2 leaves. So you can decide that how many leaves
Right.
incrementally people should be getting. What are the shifts? So if there are any other shifts, we do work with customers who've got Australian shift or US shift or Indian shift. If there are shifts, we
Understood.
can do that as well. Then you
One
have
more thing here in the attendance,
hmm,
like say a few days back, our office starts at 10 a.m.
okay,
Somebody had to attend a session somewhere. So of
okay.
course for that you said manual entry can be done or whatever.
Manual entry can be done, yeah.
But there I gave the allowance to the person that okay, since you have to go for the session right next to your house, you
Right.
can start at 11. Now
Okay.
for that, I don't want to penalize the person, of course, by deducting their salary because it's
Got it.
not actually a leave.
Got
So
it.
can that be taken into account here or how will it work?
To be honest, not not a straightforward way to do that. But
Okay.
what can be done is that we do have an integration with calendar meetings as well. So
Okay.
if someone wants to create a calendar meeting on their Google Calendar or an Outlook calendar, and that
Okay.
can be integrated. So we do have a meeting section. So
Or during the manual entry, can somebody enter
yeah,
remarks like I would that can be done, right?
that can be done. So someone can enter. You can make manual entries. They can and you
Und-
know that you've given that permission, so you'll be able to
Understood.
track that.
Right.
And once people have been assigned, so there are different members who have been assigned to this work schedule. So like how I said, different teams can have different schedules as well. Maybe the sales team needs to work on Saturdays, so
Right.
we can have a different schedule. Once this is
ठीक है.
configured, automatically your leave management will work in accordance with this. What will happen is people will be able to apply for leaves. So today only I approved some leaves, so there are no leaves to approve right now. But if there
Understood.
will be leaves, you'll be able to see this in a sort of a tabular format. You'll get the reason, you'll get the leave date, user email, username, leave type, action, and so on. And here you can
Un-
approve or reject. You can do
Understood.
one of the two, and you'll have the leave distribution for each user. For this Feb month, you can see what were the opening leaves for different people, what are the leaves taken, and what are the balance leave count.
Understood.
So this you're able to see for every month, and you can obviously download this as an Excel sheet also.
Okay. And like somebody did not use up 2 leaves of last month, can
Hmm.
that be carry forwarded and all?
Yeah, that can be carried forward. Yeah,
So it shows that okay,
correct.
then how will it reflect that okay they've not taken more than their entitled ones
Yeah.
from
So
the expected
usually
hours?
what happens is in opening leaves, they'll have a larger count, like a bigger count if they've not taken the number of leaves. For example, there are some people in our company who've not taken leaves for even 1, 2 years. Like They've not taken their stipulated amount of leave. So it's carried forward. And that's why they have a bigger count right now.
Understood.
So that can be done. Or some customers want to do a reset also. That also can be done. We don't
So
have
what I mean is,
a
there are some people who may take, say, we allow 2 leaves per month in addition to the designated holidays. Now somebody is taken one only this month, so of course
okay.
there's no reduction in terms of the salary. Next month they've taken 3. Now to me it will show that okay, he did not work for 3 days,
Hmm.
but technically I don't need to deduct his salary for
Salary.
that
Got it.
because that's actually gotten carried over. Can that be accounted for when I review the
Right.
attendance sheet at the end?
Right. So to be honest, not we don't have a front end view for that at the moment
Okay,
because that's why we don't do any of the salary calculation and stuff. Like we
understood.
don't do any of that. We just give you the count and how many days have been worked and how many leaves taken and so on. If you have a system, we can do an integration with that. Let's say we have a RESTful API structure. It can be
Right,
integrated so that you can probably maintain that stuff over there. Or if things go well, what we also do is we keep making updates to the tool. So if this would really help you, and we could obviously check with our other customers also. So we keep
right,
making new updates, and if this is something that we feel that can add value to you as well as add value to the others as well, we could take this on. So we make
understood,
about 2 updates every month. So,
understood.
so this is something that we're anyway focusing on because we know leave management is a big part of attendance. So
Right.
we want to improve
That's
it.
actually the major challenge, because otherwise it's left all
Correct.
to a manual testing.
Correct,
Understood.
correct,
So
correct. And as long as you get the entire calculation correctly, then to pay the salaries is an easy job. To
right,
calculate and to process is the harder job.
correct.
Yeah.
हाँ जी,
Correct.
ठीक है.
Perfect. So now what I'll do is I'll focus on the productivity use case, the second one,
Yes.
wherein you
Yeah.
can understand. So there's one thing that you can do for productivity, which is firstly, as a configuration, you can create what kind of apps and websites are productive for which teams. Depending
Understood.
on your teams, or if you want just for the entire organization, the same template, you can have that as well, or you can have
Understood.
for different teams as well, because nowadays we've started realizing that different teams require different tools, like different apps and websites that they use. So you can obviously
See,
configure
in our case, to be very honest,
the whole organization.
my doubt is not that they are opening unproductive apps because they're
Okay,
all working from office. Chances of that is lesser.
lesser.
My doubt is that even if productive apps are open,
Right.
how much productivity is actually happening within that?
Actually happening. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Email may be open for the entire day, but
Right.
the person may or may not be sending emails. They may
Correct.
not be or they may just send 5 emails in the entire day in 8 hours, which
Right.
is nothing. So that's my
Right.
main challenge.
Right, makes perfect sense. So I'll jump into that use case. So first I'll show you the productivity analysis. So let's say for today, you can see how much time I spent totally working. 3 hours
Right.
54 minutes, out of which 3 hours 29 minutes were productive, 12 minutes were unproductive, 12 minutes were neutral. There's also a neutral listing if you want to have, you can have, because there are some customers who like to have, let's say, some apps like Notepad or maybe File Explorer, which are not really productive, nor can they be classified as unproductive apps. So you can have a neutral listing as well. And if you want to see a breakup of where people are spending their time, you can just click on any user and you'll be
Right.
able to see where are they spending their time.
Understood.
So you'll be able to see a breakup of where that time has gone. And if you want to see this not just for today, let's say for the entire last month, because obviously seeing the data for a larger period makes more sense to
Right.
understand are they really spending time in the right direction or no. I can open this in a full screen mode and I can even filter out by different teams or so on. So let's say I select the web development team. I get to see how much time. So yellow is neutral, green is productive, and red is unproductive.
Okay.
So I'm able to understand
Now,
if someone's spending.
now for the yellow person,
Hmm.
what do you then do? Supposing you see that okay, these two have a lot of yellows.
Hmm.
Now, what is your next step, say, as an employer?
So usually what I do is I'll have an upfront conversation with them. We,
Right.
we believe in having an upfront conversation to ask them ki why is their time going so much on the general apps and not on the productive apps? Like what's
Hmm.
really happening? So that's where I'm able to understand rather than doing some guesswork that is this person working or not working. I know
Hmm.
this person's investing time. Time is there. But is he really focusing in the right areas? No, probably not. So there could be a challenge which I can address. Maybe that person's there's something happened in his family for all you know that he's not been able to focus well. So I'm able to have that conversation
Hmm.
straight up and have empathy in my conversation. That's what we usually do. And once you do that, usually problems get sorted out. If kaise bolte, I don't know, you understand Hindi, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
या
100%.
तो किसी की अगर नियत होती है काम करने की, आई वी
हाँ.
फील दैट वो फिर वो आ जाएगा, ही वर्क. बट इफ द पर्सन डज नॉट वांट टू वर्क ओनली एट ऑल, देन दैट कुड बी अ प्रॉब्लमैटिक सिचुएशन. दैट्स व्हाट वी बिलीव.
Now for the green person who it's showing 100%, can you show me the breakup what it's showing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Abhishek Patel, Visual Studio, websites that he's been visiting. He's a
ठीक
developer,
है.
so he has a lot of like developer stuff.
And this is there in the middle price one,
The
right?
middle price, correct.
Now within that is how do we overcome that challenge which I mentioned to you?
Hmm.
Supposing Gmail is marked as productive for me. So
Hmm.
it is showing that they spend the entire time on Gmail.
Correct.
But what they are actually doing within that, is it just
Yeah,
open or
sure,
they
sure,
are
sure.
building around? Yeah.
There is this one thing I think it could help you out, which is called data visuals.
Hmm.
And data visuals, there's something called an activity percentage.
Hmm.
Now, if their activity percentage is low, that
Hmm.
means they have not been spending too much time working. That means probably Gmail is just on, जो आपने बोला कुछ actionables हो रहे नहीं है.
Right.
So if their activity percentage is higher, that means they have been actively working. So in terms of mouse movement and keypad activities, that is there. Obviously,
Understood.
again, we don't know exactly, even if activity percentage is high, I know that there could be chances that, oh, maybe he's just whiling away time or,
Correct.
someone's not doing much. But at least this tells you that he's not just swiping his mouse once in like 10 minutes or once in 3
Understood.
minutes. This is actually telling you that कुछ तो कर रहा है यार laptop पे पूरा time.
समझ
मतलब
गया.
that's
And
that.
in the basic version which was there, there you are basically it was showing कि अच्छा 25 सेकंड उसने ये किया 20 सेकंड ये किया and all of that.
हाँ,
Now that even in Gmail, for example, like if I open it right now,
right,
supposing I open a particular email,
right.
the the tab name
Yeah,
instead of Gmail will change to that subject. Will
correct.
it at least show me that much? So can I see an
Correct.
example of that?
Yeah, it'll show you that much. I'll show you that.
And that's there in the basic version also, right? If I don't
So
want to get an overview.
that's actually not there in the basic. The productive apps and websites, like productivity tracking itself, is there in the second version.
Understood. नहीं, if
Productive,
I don't want to categorize it कि whether this was productive or not
productive
productive.
or no.
If I
Yeah.
just want to see कि ठीक है कल उसने क्या क्या खोला, so that I can see.
So that also, unfortunately, you can't see because the way the bifurcation is done is that first is only attendance, is only
Understood.
activity. It's
अच्छा.
no productive apps or websites at all. The
Understood.
second one includes productive apps and websites. So which is why there is no sort of tracking only on which apps and websites. It's just active and idle. That's it.
Understood.
Yeah. So here, as you can see over here, if I have any time, so for example, you can see this notepad. 83% of BPOs are not able to reach this notepad that I was working on. So you'll get
Right.
this description of, so let's say probably I'll have better time in the
Email
on.
I want to see. Supposing somebody is, I'm guessing whatever email software you use.
I am
Right?
spending a lot of time on Gmail, तो कुछ ना कुछ तो मिल ही जाएगा. ये देख रहे हो आप यहाँ पे Flowace. This is
Like I want to see कि सिर्फ Gmail ना लिख के आ रहा हूँ. It shows कि अच्छा
correct.
at least I'll get an idea. कई लोग होते हैं वो अपने का नहीं देख रहे हैं. They are checking the shared inbox for random emails.
Correct. So
That
here you
kind
can
of a
see the title gets captured inbox over here.
right. Right.
I'm just
But
seeing,
from the inbox when I open a particular email.
yeah, this Google Chrome. Yeah, this is the email only. Flowace partnership opportunity for flagship
Understood.
on flowace.ai.
ठीक है. He spent 8 minutes 45 seconds on this.
Collectively, not just one at one time.
Right.
Collectively, whenever I spend time on this the whole day, it
Ah,
accumulates that
that's
value.
better. Otherwise, so there will be
Yeah.
very
Otherwise,
small
that
time.
active tab, one file where you want to know how much time was spent. That's why that one file where on that one file, if 10 times it was opened in the day, you'll get that summary of how much time was spent on that file.
Understood.
Yeah. So yes, you will be able to understand this.
Okay. And
This is another email that I wrote. Let's
the
scribe
medium
pricing.
price pack works out to around what 500, 600 rupees, including GST. How much does it work
No,
out
no,
to
it's
approximately?
lesser than 500. Let me just use.ai. So it's depending on yearly or monthly. So
Okay.
if it's monthly, then it's $5. So then I
Okay.
think it'll be around what 450 or something rupees approximately. I think.
Plus GST.
Yeah, plus GST. If you go for the
Understood.
annual plan, it'll be a little more cost effective. But obviously,
Understood.
it'll be like an annual upfront payment.
Understood. Okay. And how does in annual how does it work? Because the users may keep increasing, reducing. So how do you do that?
What we do is we obviously you should go for a set number of licenses that you know that itne to I will
Only
be having these many seats. And if some people leave and they come in, that's okay. That those can be switched. There,
Okay.
it's like if you remove, delete that user, you add new users, that will automatically get settled in the count. It's just the
But if
way
I delete,
of
if I delete and say for 5 months I don't have a replacement,
yeah.
then that is still a cost which I have given.
That is still a cost that you've paid, which is why we recommend going for a license that is maybe don't go for 30, go for 25 then maybe.
Understood.
It's a
And for the
better
remaining 5, you pay on a
and
monthly basis.
remaining 5 you can pay on a monthly basis. Correct.
Okay, understood. ठीक है.
Yeah.
So ठीक है. Done.
Yeah.
That is one. And anything which can you just read my remarks what I had written because I don't have them with me.
Sure. Let me just open that. Just give me
Yeah.
one moment. Hmm. Just one second. So here you've written much of our work happens on Gmail, which we covered, right? Would like to understand it.
So this is dealt with.
Yeah. You
Then
kindly want to first understand the features for the cheapest
this
plan.
also you told me that's just attendance primarily.
Sometimes using landline phones or their own mobile phones to make calls to clients.
Yeah.
So calls can't be recorded, but you can sync up the time that they've spent on calls. That can be done. We do have
How
a
would that?
feature.
Yeah.
I'll show you that as well. So that firstly depends on whether you want to do that or no. Because if you have given, there are two modes in which it can be done. One is SIM-based tracking. So if you've given some SIM cards to your people, that can be done. Those calls can be tracked.
Actually, people are using either our landline phones, which are not currently recorded, or their own personal phones at times.
तो लैंडलाइन फोन्स का तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली कुछ
Right.
solution नहीं है. There'll have to be a manual entry only that people will have to make. When it
Handy.
comes to their phones, they can go ahead and from their personal devices, if they download the Flowace app, they can select, let's say, 10 calls from their call log and mark it as work calls. So that time will get synced automatically. So let me just show you a view that you'll be able to see. Let's say December 1st to 7th, I think Tarun had some calls. So Tarun as a user, I'm just checking for
Right.
his time. So you can see over here, all these calls have gotten synced from his phone. So he didn't have to manually punch in anything. He just had to select these 5, 6 calls or 10, 20 calls or whatever from his call log and just had to select work. That's it. And those call ka time also gets synced there.
Understood. And then in the productivity, this will also show as productive time.
Yeah, this will also show as productive time. This is
So
called
it will,
time.
even if they are not active on the computer,
Yeah,
then it will still count it as that.
absolutely. It'll aggregate the data for them.
But what if they were also active on the computer and on the call at the same time? So that will
Call
not
gets precedence. Call gets precedence then because
precedent.
call is more important.
But it will not count it doubly, right?
So it won't count it down. It'll get precedence.
Understood.
Yeah. So this can be done. Although
Understood.
they have people have personal assets, I'm not sure. We have faced situations in the past where people have said that if it's my personal asset, I'm not comfortable
Correct.
doing this and all of that. So that's the
Understood.
reason why we have built that SIM based also. That if you've given a SIM also, all calls from SIM one or SIM two on their mobile automatically get tracked and get inserted. They don't even need to select them.
Understood. Okay. Okay. So this is another thing. Yeah. Anything else which you want to?
So there are a ton of other data visuals that are there which I have not really covered. But if you want to do the app understanding, there's also understanding of which
Not
apps are they
required.
spending time on
Not
and which
required for us
websites.
right now.
Yeah. So if this high level of understanding is not required, then we can probably ignore this.
Understood. And this is there. Yeah. Okay. I think that's about it.
Sure.
Okay. So, and last thing, that KPIs, KRAs and all, can it help us say sort of keep a record or something of that?
Sure. So firstly, when it comes to KPIs or KRAs, we do have a mode in which you can select which task or which KPI or which client you're working for. We
Hmm.
do have that as well because then your time gets allocated. It's not just time on apps and websites, but it's also how much time are you spending on which client or which task or which activity. So
Okay. So that not really. Main purpose is say in our field, the accuracy is very important,
okay,
right? Because
okay,
today somebody does a wrong declaration or something, it can cost something at the time of a claim. People can have a problem.
right,
Things like those. And second is sort of timely having completed their work and all. Like I may have assigned them 10 tasks, maybe they're spending time productively,
Yeah.
but they've neither reported nor finished so maybe 5 tasks out of that.
Yeah.
So maybe I feed it in manually, but
Yeah.
at the end of the year or during the bonus or appraisal, I would need to evaluate that,
Right.
because I'm not sure. I'll also ask you that question to have
Sure.
your honest feedback.
Sure.
Uh, as against, say, some HR or KK, if you are
Right.
aware of what they
Right.
offer, how
Right.
would you say, or why would you say that you are, say, better off? I'm asking very
Sure.
frankly.
No, 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 absolutely. It's very important to understand. The reason why we
Right.
are better is because while you're working, you can select what you're doing. So it's actually monitoring your how much time it's taken you. Let's say I'm working on this mandate called PwC implementation. I'm
Right.
working for PwC as a client now. Whatever I'm doing, I'm selecting and I'm clicking on the classify button. Now my
Hmm.
time is also going under this mandate or this project. So, like how you said, if you have 350 hours
Hmm.
for a particular mandate to be completed, you're actually tracking how much time in man hours is it taking the entire team to complete that. And if everyone's going over budget, let's say you already realize that 80% of the hours that we had stipulated, they're already done and
Hmm.
there's no way in which I'm going to complete this on time. So either I talk to my client and ask this person ki bhai itne mein to nahi ho payega. I
Hmm.
will not be able to. I need a little bit of a variance in terms of number of hours because otherwise I am
In ours, actually, that doesn't happen because, say, 15 minutes they may be working for Mr. Varun Kurnani, next 20 minutes for Mr. Vaibhav Agarwal. There's smaller
got it,
transactional daily
got
aspects.
it, got it,
So
got it,
it's not one like larger projects
got
and
it.
everybody spending the
Got
entire
it,
day.
got it, got it. So in that
So
case, I think OKR or a OKR kind of a system could help. These are manual in nature. Obviously, you'll have to punch in everything. But what
right,
we can do along with that, so what we have done already with some HRMS tools, let me just show you a quick thing,
yeah,
which is quite nice that people have really liked. What we do is we help you plot your input and output. I'm quickly
okay,
going to go to that last slide only where this is mentioned. So this.
right,
So here what you can see is if there are KPIs that have been entered for each individual and if their
hmm,
average productive hours per day are also known, then we can
hmm,
plot these people onto this quadrant analysis where you're able to understand four types of performers in your company. One are those who are target and effort driven, so they're doing both. They're achieving both these things are happening, which is great. They're amazing for your company. They deserve the appraisals, they deserve whatever hikes and incentives that you have.
right,
Target driven are your highly efficient ones, but sort of they don't invest so much time in your company. They just complete their tasks quickly and they're done. Like, they're it's like calm se calm kind of a thing in a way.
right,
Third are your need training category where they invest a lot of time. The intent is there, but somehow they're not smart workers. They're not able to achieve the results as per how these two type of people are. So you probably want to train them. You want to educate them on how to do the task and how to utilize their time more effectively. And fourth category are your dead leg, is your dead leg in your company who's probably not even investing any of them. So they're either lowly motivated or they are probably not in the right role itself. You're able to understand this. And
right,
every 3 months, if you do this analysis, you'll actually be able to see if you're having the right conversations with people. You're able to see that this person has suddenly moved up a little bit. Then this person's moved up a little bit more. So this will keep changing. Some people might fall into this, some people might go here, some people might go here. Idea is to move everyone to this top right.
understood.
So we
ठीक
help companies do this, but obviously we don't have the output that they have delivered. We integrate that with their targets that they have achieved. So they have some target score and all these HRMS tools have. So let's say if someone's achieved 9.19 target out of 10, like there's a
right,
score. And that score can be plotted against the average productive hours.
understood, understood. ठीक है, perfect, done. Thank you. This is
Obviously,
very helpful.
yeah.
So I let me review this. I have to be honest. I'm have a session with some HR also tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Sure, sure.
that session, plus I'll take some time to discuss this with my father also,
Sure.
and probably then revert on that.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
Please let me know. We are obviously open to doing a free trial. So, in case you would like to
absolutely.
start a free trial, we'll be happy to assist you and you'll be able to see us working together also during that period. Mhm.
Absolutely. And one personal feedback for you, just sharing one to one, because I am also a business owner, so I understand the
Sure,
training and all, and sometimes you're not able to monitor everything. So
sure,
yesterday, when I got a call from Pavni, it was slightly funny. I could see some rookie mistakes which our people also make.
sure.
She started the
Please.
conversation with, "Sir, if you like it, how quickly will you finalize it?"
Okay.
So That was one question she asked me. Another question which she asked me, it's just for training, it's just as a
Sure,
constructive
sure. No, no,
feedback.
no, absolutely. I'm more than
Second
happy.
thing which she asked me is, sir, if you like it, will you refer more people? So
Okay,
I was like, I told her, firstly, let me go through it, of course, right?
sure.
If I
Sure.
like the product, certainly I will go in for it. I
Right,
can't commit a timeline to you.
right,
It's an important thing for me. That's why I've also set up 45
right,
minutes. Of course, you are also taking out that
right,
time.
right.
But that is one. So that conversation is better had once maybe
Yeah,
you through the demo and everything. Then you
correct.
can check, okay, when are you likely to
Yeah,
finalize it
yeah,
by?
right, right, right.
Send a
Absolutely.
send a soft reminder.
Yeah,
But this stuff seems pushy. I didn't take it
sure,
personally because
sure,
so
sure,
I just told her, I said, you should wait for it. I said, let
sure.
me first fight, then you'll have references, right? So
Sure,
first is
sure,
that
sure. No,
part.
no, no. Kind of you to let me know about this really helps. Actually, we've been obviously telling them about the band discovery. We follow this
Correct.
thing called band, budget, authority, need, and timeline. Because there are
Correct.
lots of people who come in with requests, but they don't have that clarity in their head. So we obviously
Correct.
told them not obviously doing it this way, like how you said,
Correct.
but try to understand this whole
No,
band.
that I understand. We also
Yeah,
face these kind of issues. That's why I thought as a
yeah.
business owner, I should share it with you since you're
No, no,
speaking
no.
directly.
Very kind of you to share. I'll definitely take it up and empathetically with her, and I'll understand what
Right.
her, and I can obviously change some things about
Correct. Correct.
myself.
Because I understand the importance or the agenda behind that, but
Yeah,
it should come across more
yeah, correct,
naturally and at an
correct,
appropriate stage.
correct, correct,
Right
correct.
now, it came across clear. Dekha hai any product that it's being
So
pushed
already
upon.
she's asking. No, no, I totally understand. Absolutely.
ठीक है. Thanks a lot for your time, Varun, and
Thank you so
sorry
much.
for having
Thanks.
wasted 10
No, no, no,
minutes of your.
that's fine. Not a problem. Where are you based out of, Weber, if I may
We are
understand?
based out of Meerut, but we have clients basically pan India. Currently, I was working from the UK. Basically, my wife was doing a master's, so for a few
Okay.
months I was working from here. But our main setup is in Meerut, actually.
Got it, got it, got it. So I'm in Bombay. So if you're
Yeah,
ever in Bombay, do let me know. We can definitely catch up, irrespective
absolutely,
of
absolutely. Would
us
be would be happy to.
going ahead or no. Would be happy to connect.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Varun.
Thanks a
Take
lot,
care
Weber. Take care.
and
Thank
all
you.